What if I told you that everything you just watched meant absolutely nothing? That the hero was the villain all along, or that nobody in the story was even real? Horror movies love to mess with our minds, but some twists don't just surprise us. They completely obliterate everything we thought we knew and force us to question the entire film we just sat through. Today, we're counting down the top 5 horror movie twists that didn't just shock audiences. They fundamentally rewrote the entire story. These are the twists that left us sitting in stunned silence, immediately wanting to rewatch the film to catch all the clues we missed. And trust me, number 1 on this list will make you question reality itself. But before we dive in, if you love horror content like this, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, we have The Others, starring Nicole Kidman. Now, this movie came out in 2001, and it masterfully built tension through its gothic atmosphere and creepy supernatural events. Grace, played by Kidman, is a mother protecting her 2 light-sensitive children in a dark, isolated mansion while strange things start happening around them. Servants appear out of nowhere, doors open by themselves, and Grace becomes convinced that intruders are haunting her home. But here's the twist. Grace and her children aren't being haunted. They are the ghosts. They've been dead the whole time, and the real living people are the family trying to move into the house. Grace actually smothered her own children in a moment of madness before taking her own life, and now they're all trapped in the house, unaware of their true nature. This twist completely flips the script. Every creepy moment, every supernatural occurrence, suddenly makes perfect sense when you realize we've been watching from the perspective of the ghosts all along. The movie brilliantly plays with our expectations, making us sympathize with Grace while hiding the horrifying truth in plain sight. Director Alejandro Amenabar apparently wrote the script with this twist in mind, from the very beginning, structuring every scene to work both ways. What makes this twist so effective is how it recontextualizes everything. On a rewatch, you notice Grace never goes outside during daylight. The intruders are actually terrified of her, and all those little details suddenly click into place. It's a twist that rewards multiple viewings and changed how we think about haunted house movies. At number 4, we have the French extreme horror film High Tension, known as Haute Tension in its original language. This movie is absolutely brutal. It follows Marie and Alex, 2 college friends who travel to Alex's family farmhouse for a quiet weekend of studying. But their peaceful getaway turns into a nightmare when a mysterious killer in a truck arrives and brutally murders Alex's entire family before kidnapping her. The film then becomes an intense cat-and-mouse chase as Marie follows the killer, desperately trying to save her friend. The violence is unflinching, the tension is suffocating, and you're on the edge of your seat watching Marie's heroic rescue attempt. Imagine this. Marie is the hero we're rooting for, right? Wrong. The twist reveals that there was never any killer. Marie herself committed all the murders in a psychotic break fueled by her obsessive, unrequited love for Alex. Every scene with the male killer was a delusion, a projection of her fractured mind. She kidnapped Alex. She murdered the family. Everything we watched was filtered through her disturbed perception of reality. This twist is controversial, and here's why. Some viewers felt betrayed because certain scenes seem physically impossible if Marie is acting alone. How could she be in 2 places at once? Director Alexandra Aja has defended it as showing Marie's complete psychological break from reality, but it definitely divided audiences. What you can't deny is the impact. This twist doesn't just change the story. It makes you question whether anything you saw was real. It transforms a slasher film into a psychological horror about delusion and obsession, and that final image of Marie in the psychiatric facility still lost in her fantasy. Absolutely chilling. The film was actually inspired by Dean Koontz's novel Intensity, though Aja took it in a much darker, more twisted direction. We're at number 3, and yes, we have to talk about it, The Sixth Sense. Even if you've never seen this movie, you probably know the twist. It's become so iconic, so embedded in pop culture, that it's almost impossible to watch it unspoiled today. But back in 1999, this twist absolutely destroyed audiences. The story follows Dr. Malcolm Crowe, a child psychologist played by Bruce Willis, who's trying to help a young boy named Cole who claims he can see dead people. Throughout the film, Malcolm is dealing with his own struggles. His marriage is falling apart, his wife barely acknowledges him, and he's haunted by a former patient who shot him before taking his own life. Malcolm dedicates himself to helping Cole, slowly earning the boy's trust and helping him understand his gift. It's a touching story about healing and connection. And then, in the film's final minutes, everything changes. Malcolm realizes he's been dead the entire time. That shooting at the beginning of the film, it killed him. Every scene where his wife ignores him, every strange interaction, every moment that felt slightly off-fit, all makes perfect sense. He's been a ghost all along, and Cole's ability to see dead people included seeing him. Malcolm wasn't helping Cole move on. Cole was helping Malcolm understand his own death and finally let go. Director M. Night Shyamalan constructed this twist with surgical precision. On a rewatch, you notice that Malcolm never directly interacts with anyone except Cole. People don't respond to him. Doors are already open when he enters rooms. His wife's ignoring him is actually her being unable to see him. The clues are all there, but Shyamalan uses clever editing and our own assumptions against us. This twist revolutionized horror cinema and made Shyamalan's career. It earned 6 Academy Award nominations and grossed nearly $700 million worldwide. More importantly, it showed that a horror movie could be emotionally devastating while still delivering that knockout punch of a twist. The Sixth Sense didn't just rewrite its own story, it rewrote the rules for twist endings in horror. Coming in at number 2 is the film that launched an entire franchise and changed horror forever. Saw. Now, most people remember Saw for its brutal traps and torture sequences, but the original film is actually a tight psychological thriller. 2 men, Dr. Lawrence Gordon and photographer Adam, wake up chained in a grimy bathroom with a corpse lying between them. They're forced to play a game orchestrated by the mysterious Jigsaw killer, who tests his victim's will to live through horrific challenges. Throughout the film, we follow the police investigation, led by Detective Tapp, as they hunt for Jigsaw. We see flashbacks of previous victims and traps. We're led to believe we're watching a cat-and-mouse game between the police, the trapped men, and an unseen killer. But then comes one of the greatest twist endings in horror history. The corpse on the bathroom floor. It's not a corpse. It's Jigsaw himself, played by Tobin Bell. He's been lying there the entire time, listening, watching, controlling everything. He stands up, peels off his death makeup, and walks out, leaving Adam screaming in the darkness. That iconic line, "Game over," followed by the slamming door. Pure cinema. But wait, there's actually another twist layered on top. Dr. Gordon's orderly Zepp, who we thought was Jigsaw. He was just another victim, forced to follow Jigsaw's instructions or die. The real killer was literally dead center in the frame the whole time, and we never suspected a thing. This twist is brilliant because it's completely fair. When you rewatch Saw, you can see Jigsaw subtly moving, positioning himself, reacting to what's happening. Directors James Wan and Lee Whannell planted the clues throughout, but your brain dismisses the body as set dressing. It's a magic trick pulled off through clever cinematography and our own assumptions. The impact of this twist cannot be overstated. It spawned 10 films and counting, launched Wan's career leading to films like The Conjuring and Insidious, and proved that low-budget horror could compete with major studio releases. The original Saw cost just over $1 million to make and earned over $100 million worldwide. That twist ending is a massive reason why. And now, we've reached number 1. Wait, you might be thinking, The Orphanage? Not something like Psycho or The Usual Suspects. Hear me out. The Orphanage, or El Orfanato, is a Spanish horror film produced by Guillermo del Toro. It tells the story of Laura, who returns to the orphanage where she grew up with plans to reopen it as a home for disabled children. She brings her adopted son Simon, who's HIV positive and has an active imagination. Simon starts talking about invisible friends and becomes increasingly obsessed with a game involving a child wearing a creepy sack mask. Then Simon disappears, completely vanishes during a party at the house. What follows is a devastating descent into grief, supernatural horror, and obsession as Laura becomes convinced that the ghosts of children who died in the orphanage are communicating with her, trying to help her find Simon. The film builds to Laura conducting a seance, following clues left by the spirits. Playing the children's game to find her son, she believes the supernatural forces will reunite her with Simon if she just follows their rules. And then, in the final act, we get the twist. There were no ghosts. Simon never disappeared into the supernatural realm. He accidentally locked himself in a hidden basement room during the party while playing hide-and-seek, and he died there. Alone, calling for his mother, who couldn't hear him, Laura spent months following phantom clues while her son's body was in the house the entire time, just feet away from where she was searching, the ghosts helping her. They were her own mind, creating meaning from grief, turning coincidence into supernatural patterns because accepting the mundane truth was too painful. That child in the sack mask, it was Simon trying to get her attention, and she dismissed him as a game. She had the chance to find him, but she was too consumed by ghost stories and supernatural explanations to see what was right in front of her. This is number one because it doesn't just rewrite the story, it's absolutely crushing. Every supernatural moment you believed in becomes a mother's grief-stricken delusion. The film makes you complicit in the tragedy because you wanted to believe in the ghosts too. You rooted for the supernatural explanation because the alternative, that a child died needlessly in a preventable accident, too horrific to accept. Director Juan Antonio Bayona crafted something truly special here. The twist works on multiple levels because even after the reveal, you can interpret the ending either way. Did Laura really see ghosts in her final moments, or did she succumb completely to the delusion that brought her peace? The film leaves just enough ambiguity to haunt you long after the credits roll. The Orphanage reminds us that the scariest horror isn't supernatural. It's human error, grief, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive loss. That's why it's number one. It rewrites not just its own narrative, but how we think about ghost stories entirely. So there you have it. 5 horror movie twists that completely rewrote their stories and left us questioning everything we thought we knew. From dead protagonists to hidden killers to heartbreaking tragedies disguised as ghost stories, these films prove that the best twists don't just shock us in the moment. They transform the entire viewing experience. Which twist shocked you the most? Are there any I missed that you think deserve to be on this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your reactions and recommendations. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our horror content. We've got more top 5s, deep dives, and horror analyses coming your way. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, keep the lights on, and I'll see you in the next video.